Hello everyone, here I'm back again with another Escalation Tier 10 video. Now, before I start, yes, I'm using a new microphone. Tell me guys, what do you think about the upgrade? Do you think the audio is too loud? Is there anything that you guys don't like about the sound? Leave a comment down below, that will help me a lot. So, anyways, this time I'm going to be doing another mission that I already did last season, which is American History Museum. Again, I want to leave a little guide on how to deal with the tier 10 modifiers for this season, including variety pack, and yeah. So I'm going to be using the next build. I'm going to be using 4-piece striker as always. With backpack and the chest piece, all the pieces have critical hit damage, Exodus gloves, because these things are best in slot for solo play, chest and knee pads, they're almost god roll. All of my pieces have the echo augment, I'm at around 17% with my LMG. I'm using double MK46 with critical hit chance and frenzy, of course. I'm using the quickstep pistol, my decoy and reviver hive as always, and for the seasonal modifier, it's already maxed out. I'm using the invincible active modifier, and I'm using these 3 passive modifiers. Contagion in particular is great for DPS. So yeah, now let's go. For this beginning part, I always like to leave a decoy right on the right side, and I like to start by killing this guy over here. And then as I kill the guys that are closest to me, I can now safely try to ambush them from the left side. Now as usual, because of variety pack, I recommend that every time you get one kill with one of your LMGs, you switch to the other one as soon as you run out of bullets on the gun that you're firing. That way we can cleanse the variety pack effect from that gun, and we can keep our DPS on its most optimal state. So yeah, that's pretty much what I'm going to be doing for all of these Escalation tier 10 runs. Now for this part, I usually stay over here, and the enemies in the room are usually not hard enough that they don't pose too much of a problem. But if you happen to get an LMG guy, which is pretty much what happened, the position is good enough so that you're able to like stay in cover and don't get shut down. So yeah, that's pretty much what happened. Now I'm gonna be interacting with the laptop. And we're gonna keep continuing with the mission. Always keep an eye out on like what's the last weapon that you used to kill an enemy on one room, even if it's especially important if you don't get the 3 minimum kills to proc the variety pack debuff. Like if you already have more than 3 kills with that weapon, then it doesn't matter if you switch your weapons or not, you're gonna be getting that debuff as soon as you swap to that weapon. But if you have less than 3 kills, you won't get any icon that tells you so. So yeah, always keep a track on like what gun are you using. So next encounter, I'm starting with the first LMG, of course. And also the usual advice that I give is that always have at least 500 LMG bullets before you start any encounter or any mission. That's usually enough ammo to deal with all the enemies on a solo play. And if you don't have enough ammo, you can always interact with one of the ammo boxes right before an encounter. So yeah, that's like general advice that I always give, especially for an LMG build, which are usually like the meta. Now I'm gonna be emptying out these guns so that I can have it ready for the moment I run out of ammo on the second LMG, and I'm gonna be staying right over here. That way I can get a pretty good line of sight for all the enemies that are spawning from the back of this room. And I also have enough space to like do the chicken dance so I don't get shocked by hot food. So yeah. And if enemy fire gets too aggressive, you can also just take cover over here, and that way you can reduce some of the NPC accuracy and give you a better chance of like actually being able to damage straight with them without getting too much damage from them. So yeah. Now I finished the encounter with the second LMG, so I'll start with the first one for next room. We'll grab the bullets, and there we go. For next part, I always like to throw a decoy on the left side and take cover over here so that I have a clear line of sight with the 2 enemy waves that we'll be getting on this room. There's 6 enemies in total. Was it 5? No, it's actually 5. I don't know how to count. And if you run out of ammo on one of your weapons, well, I wasn't able to show you, but if you run out of ammo on one of your weapons and you're on your last enemy, you can also always use the gun or LMG to get those kills. The moment you swap to another weapon, the gun will reload by itself without consuming the high quality ammo. So yeah, that's a good thing to know for this season. Now for this part, I like to start by hiding over here and focusing on the first 2 enemies on our right side. So let's see if I'm able to kill them. There we go. And then I start focusing on the guy on the left. And then I'm going to flank the last enemy. It's a yellow, so I'm gonna use the frenzy LMG so I don't get killed. And there we go. Before the backup arrives, I'm gonna throw another decoy over there, and that way I should get the attention from all the enemies that are spawning on our left, and especially on the back of the room. That's where all of the enemies' waves are gonna be spawning. So yeah, we can stay over here. This is a pretty safe spot to tackle them on. And if we feel comfortable, we can also like push and try to get closer to the back of the room from the hallway that we came from. Oh yeah, if you don't feel like comfortable to try to push too aggressively, like you can also just stay on the right where I was at. That's also a pretty safe spot to tackle all the enemies. But yeah, this mission in general is like pretty forgiving in terms of like difficulty wise. Oh, also if you get flanked by the enemies, you can also like hide behind this little wooden house. So yeah, as I said, this mission is pretty forgiving quality-wise, so difficulty-wise, sorry. So it's a great mission if you guys need to get accustomed to Escalation Tier 10 difficulty. There's a ton of missions in the game that are really friendly for trying to learn the ropes with Escalation Tier 10. So yeah, this is one of those. I'm gonna interact with the keypad. And I have 900 LMG ammo, so I'm good to go for the next 2 rooms. For the next 2 rooms, on the 5th room, we're gonna get 4 enemies. That's the first one, and there's gonna be another 3 enemies on the back of the room. Should be able to handle them with a single frenzy LMG magazine. Let's see how I'm doing. Yeah. There we go. Wasn't too much of an issue. And for the second room first, gonna start with the second LMG. So I don't get the variety buff, the debuff, as you already saw. And I'm gonna be handling first the enemies that are closer to me. Sometimes enemies will try to flank you from the right side. I always try to focus on them. And if there's no enemies within your line of sight, I like to focus all of my fire to the hyenas heavy. That's on the back of the room. It is a pretty safe spot to shoot them from. But yeah, like a frenzy LMG is more than enough DPS to like just destroy their armor. You don't have to use something like Ravenous. But you can also always use it. It's always an option. So yeah, now for next part, I'm gonna throw a decoy right over here, and I'm gonna be staying over here on the right side of this hallway. That way I can get a decent line of sight with all of the enemies. Now, if I'm getting shot by a certain yellow enemy, like that guy on the back, I can also take cover over here. We just gotta be careful that we don't get surrounded by the enemy spawns. This is a pretty tight area, and if you get like flanked by a yellow enemy, it's pretty likely that you're gonna get killed, especially if you get like something like EMP or something. So yeah, we can also try to play a little bit more aggressively by staying over here and try to deal with all the enemies from closer, without having to suffer the damage drop-off from stuff like optimal range. Although, at least for this season, that's not too much of a case because of the high-quality ammo. I believe we get something like 50% optimal range increase with this seasonal modifier. Anyways, so For the last room, I always suggest that you have full ammo because there are going to be a ton of enemy waves that we have to deal with. So, as always, I like to reload the gun. I proc frenzy, I interact with the ammo box, and that way I can empty out a weapon a lot quicker from increased RPM. That's the trick that I always mention on some of my previous videos. So yeah, only this time, because I'm using two LMGs, I have to empty out two LMGs every time. So yeah, I mean, that's also why I said that if you have 500 LMG ammo, you can just keep refilling all your ammo and do the missions a bit quicker. So yeah. Now, for this part, we're going to be doing this. We're going to go upstairs. We're going to destroy these things. Make sure that your quick step has a suppressor so that you don't grab the attention of the enemies, and then drop a decoy on on the left side. And I'm going to try to focus all my fire on the engineer. If I'm not able to kill them, or if they stay on this position right over here, which is pretty useful, then what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to focus on killing all the enemies first. And then I'm gonna have to push the engineer guy and try to kill them so that I can finally get the next enemy wave. There we go. That's the next enemy wave. If you kill the last enemy from too far away from this cover position, the boss is going to spawn on the... What was it? I think it was the left side where I'm shooting from, and they're gonna climb to their platform really quickly. So you pretty much have to rely on something like a decoy, and it's gonna be more likely that you get shot by the boss. But if the boss spawns while you are near where I place my decoy or right where I'm at, then usually this boss gets a far slower animation, and we have more time to kill the reds on this room on a safer manner. So yeah. This position in general is like pretty comfortable to fight from. Also, if the boss stays over on that piece of cover, we can also always suppress them and be able to take care of all the enemies that are nearby. Problem is, the enemy stayed in a position where I'm not able to shoot them that effectively, so I'm gonna be throwing a decoy. Let's see if I can get closer. There we go. I'm gonna throw a decoy to make the boss jump from that platform. Or move away, that also works. Drone is going a bit slow, but still. For Escalation Tier 10, the most important thing above all is security. And the strategy in general is pretty consistent. I haven't really wiped on this mission, even with Tier 10. I'll get my frenzy. Probably gonna get shots. There we go. And that was the mission, American History Museum. As I said, it's a pretty chill mission for Escalation Tier 10. It's a pretty good mission to farm, Escalation Tier 10 rewards, and most importantly, it's also a great mission if you want to get the hang on with the Tier 10 difficulty. So yeah, that's the mission right there. Now, just to show a little bit more of the build, these are my stats. I have almost maxed out critical hit chance. My critical hit damage is 186%, and the combination of all weapon damage and LMG damage is a little bit above 200%. So yeah, I do a lot of damage. And yeah, that's pretty much it for this video. If you like the video, you can like, subscribe, and leave a comment down below. I read all of your comments, and I'll especially read your comments about the microphone upgrade. So yeah, that's pretty much it for this video, and let's just wait for the mission summary to show up before I finish up the video. Come on, I'm waiting. Don't leave me hanging. Come on. There we go. So 12 minutes, 11 seconds, that's an average completion time. 72 kills, not as many as Air and Space Museum, but it's still a chill mission in general. So yeah, Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.